Foolishness is bound up in the heart of a child. That's what Proverbs 22:15 says. We need to be aware of the hundreds of other little sinners who have foolishness bound up in their hearts that your kids are interacting with at school. It's a crowd of children from all kinds of backgrounds, very lightly supervised, tending towards sinful behavior. And no, I'm not just talking about calling names or not sharing toys. Those things happen, but it's much worse today. Don't be fooled. In this internet-driven world, the kinds of sins that your kids are being exposed to are much more sickening than you could ever imagine. Lately, the two most prevalent culprits are witchcraft and sexuality, and they have many forms, but there are others. The internet has made our world much smaller, and so living in a small, conservative, rural area doesn't protect your kids anymore. If they have a smartphone, or even if they don't and their friends have smartphones, you can be guaranteed that your kids have been exposed to all kinds of filth because of socialization. There's bullying, there's drug use, there's sexual escapades either being watched or happening, and parents are fooling themselves if they think none of this is true in their town. That is public school socialization. And unless you're super fortunate, it's also private school socialization. You don't escape it just by switching schools. And so when people call me and ask me, how do I get my kid out? It makes me sad. Every time I hear these stories, I think about the parents who put social skills and socialization above everything else, because what they're doing is showing that their kids that's more important than anything. But remember, Proverbs tells us that he who walks with wise men will be wise, but a companion of fools will be destroyed. And this is what's happening in socialization. So, like I said before, true socialization just happens naturally. Even with the most shy person, they are still forced to socialize to get along in life. It doesn't need to be coerced, and it doesn't need to be organized by a public school system. Kids are naturally social. They're interested in what's going on around them. They want to talk to people that they meet, and they do want to play with other children. So as a homeschool family, we can and do facilitate all of this, but we do it in a safer way. We participate in all the things because we want our kids to be well-rounded, and we want them to have friends and have a good time. I do believe friends are a gift from God, and they're a delight for children. That's what makes childhood fun. But be deliberate in helping your kids have friends and to find activities to do. Make it your point to seek out good friends for your kids, get to know the whole family, organize playtimes at your house, and teach your children how to be good friends. Some of the best advice I've heard over the years of raising kids and homeschooling was that it's very necessary to make the time in your schedule to supervise your children while they're playing with other kids, instead of just turning them loose for multiple hours at a time. Stay within earshot, step in when you need to, and set limits on internet use among the kids especially. Encourage them to do the old-fashioned stuff like playing board games or going outside to play, doing crafts together. Teach them how to have fun without the internet. And also teach them about the fruits of the Spirit, because that makes socialization positive. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. When we practice things God's way, it will seem foolish to the world. That's why homeschoolers are mocked and made fun of, because of some kind of made-up socialization problem. So I just encourage you to turn your back on the world and apply this biblical principle to socialization. Your kids will be better off, and the world doesn't matter. In fact, I always say socialization is one of the best reasons to homeschool. You get 18 to 20 years with your kids, and it's such a short time for you to teach them and train them and protect them. And not only that, you get to spend their socialization years with them. Make the most of this time by guarding their hearts and minds and thoughtfully putting them in social situations that are healthy and good for them.